time it is!
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for checking out the C Squared Hour. I'm your host, Chris, bringing you another episode. Once again, a little late for the schedule I'm trying to do it on, but this time, not my fault. I have my notebook here. I didn't have enough to go on to fill a full hour. I've been trying. I tried to do this last week, and I'm like, this is not enough. So maybe you're thinking, Chris, why don't you be more creative? And the answer is, society, why don't you be more interesting? It's not 100% true. I could have, jumped on some of the hacky stuff that was going on around, but not going to do that. So I'm back. Gonna make a couple apologies. Oh, and besides that, I have a couple people who are willing to be guests, or who should be guests, that need to grow a pair. I have a good friend who was a waitress. She's going to have a lot of awesome stories if she ever grows a pair and gets on this. I have another buddy who, quote unquote, used to be a stand-up comedian, and he wants to be a guest, but none of those assholes are returning phone calls, so here I am, solo, alone, just like my soul. I'm going to make a quick apology. Today, I am drinking bottled beers, so you're not going to hear the cool sound of the tab opening. So if that's what you're sitting there waiting for, if you listen just to hear when I crack those beers, I'll do my best, but you might not hear it exactly. So here we are. We're at the end of March Madness. We're at the beginning of the baseball season. The Masters are this weekend. A lot of shit's starting to go on. A lot of shit is about to happen, but nothing's been happening. So that's where I've been lost in my own little... Anyway, obviously, my longtime listeners are listening and they're saying, God, it sounds awful quiet across the table. Where is the other Chris? The other Chris ran into an issue the other day. Big, giant, fat guy. I mean, I don't know. I should probably tell the whole story. He's at a bar. I mean, technically bar, grill, whatever. The kind of place where the only people who would even attempt to eat lunch there are people who work next door, are people in the neighborhood who are accustomed to the diet that neighborhood would bring out. If you are venturing to this place anywhere outside a 5-mile radius, your palate is not going to know how to handle whatever the food menu is. So stick to drinks and you'll be safe. So he goes, because for some reason, I don't know what it is. I'm the fat drunk one. He's just the drunk one. For some reason, he pisses way more than I do. Way more than I do, for some reason. Anyway, he goes to take a piss at this bar. And 3 toilets, 2 urinals, 1 sitter. However, no matter what you're doing, even with the wall next to the shitter, you're still shoulder to shoulder. You go take a piss in the urinal, and you could feel the heat of the guy taking a shit, their shoulder against the wall. And he says, we are a first world country. For now. maybe we're a second. We are a first world country. Why am I feeling the heat of someone else's body while I'm taking a piss? So he has been going to building code places or wherever they take care of the shit, and he is trying to make it so public bathrooms have to be a certain size, or you have to have a certain gap between each toilet, or have enough room to whatever. He's trying to make it big. Again, first world country. I just mentioned the reason why he started this pilgrimage. Because he's going all over the place trying to get this done. Over the last probably 4.5 weeks, he's been all over the place trying to get this done. The point I heard brought up from, as I bump this, from some of his supporters, some of the people he's gotten on the bus, aren't bar bathrooms basically built for 2 threes to go and bang it out in the middle of a stall? The smaller and smaller you make the bathrooms, the worse it goes for ugly people. Yeah, I know on the TV shows and on the movies that it's hot people banging in bar bathrooms, but that's not the case. The only people who want to, minus glory hole people, the only people who want to bang in a bar bathroom are people who know that neither one of them looks good in daylight. It's that simple. You know you don't look good in daylight. You know you're not going to look good in 4 hours unless you keep doing a shot every 10 minutes. So let's go knock it out right now, and we can both be on our way. We both never have to speak of this again. We never have to see each other again. So not only is it more comfortable for people taking a piss, or, God forbid, taking a shit, those 2 through 4s are going to have way more room to do their thing. So not only did it benefit Chris, because he would like to call himself an 8, maybe 9. I would have probably put him, well, he's definitely a Eastern Washington 9. I'll give him that. But he didn't realize how much the 3s were going to be behind him, and now he has a train full of broad-shouldered dudes and ugly-ass people trying to get this changed. So if you see their signs, if you see them picketing, do whatever you can to help them out. Not sure the GoFundMe's there yet, because honestly, what are you funding? By the way, I'll get into this later, but you know what? No, fuck it. I'll get into it now. Can we stop trying to... We need to save this local company, or we need to save this local landmark because they're running out. You know what? Maybe time has passed them by. Maybe we're done with them. First, on social media, I see this plea from this company saying, oh, well, if we don't get the customers we need, we are going to be going out of business, and we've been here for 50 years. Funny you should mention that, because a lot of your loyal customers are saying that you've gone downhill in the last couple of years. Maybe time's passed you by. And then there's a local discount movie theater that is starting to GoFundMe. Let's make sure we save this place. Let's make sure. Maybe if you wanted to be saved, you would adapt to the times. So fuck it. Let nature take its course. Maybe these places shouldn't be a thing anymore. Maybe we should just let them go by the wayside. And, hear me out, maybe whatever fills the gap is gonna be way cooler than what we had before. Shit, nature got rid of the dinosaurs, and then we show up. So maybe these 2 locations... This is way too much local inside baseball, but let's just stop. Oh, this has been here for 100 years, and now it's gonna go out of business because it's still doing the same shit that kept them around 100 years ago. Well, change what the fuck you're doing, or move aside. Oh, this restaurant's been here for 50 years, but now they're gonna go under because maybe we don't want to go to a place that reminds us of 50 fucking years ago. Maybe we would like updated menus. Maybe we would like more drink selections. Maybe we would like both these places that I'm hinting at, by the way, are both places I frequent and I enjoy. But fuck them. If you're not going to be able keep yourself going or adjust how you act or how you do business, maybe we let you go like the dinosaurs and hope that something as cool as humans show up, like robots or something. Okay, now I got that out of the way. We all know what's coming up next. Unfortunately for you assholes, I have less of a reason to want to lace them up with Randy as I do with my faithful listeners. What, Chris? You're a fledgling podcast. How dare you talk about the 4 people who listen to you regularly? Here's why. I've had the same logo for about a year, maybe year and a half. And it took me till 2 weeks ago, maybe last week, it took me till last week to realize, oh, I fucked it up and there's a redundancy on it. Okay, so my social media and my logos, that was almost a word, my logos have looked weird. That's fine. How have none of my fucking squareheads told me that I fucked up the logo when I updated it? None of you. I even had friends who, as a very kind gesture and possibly the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me, customize shit with my logo on it for a present. They didn't even tell me it was fucked up when it was clearly fucked up. So, here's what I'm running into. Randy, obviously, we have to drop the gloves. Obviously, we have to go. I have found my warm-up fights, however. And, honestly, like I said, there's probably like 4 faithful listeners or something like that. Not true if you look at my stats, but we'll say 4. I got your warm-up fights too. So, Randy, not only do I have the marketing available, I have the venues available, I have the coaches available, now I have your warm-up fights available. You and I will both have ways to warm up for this. So, basically, we're just waiting for you to man the fuck up, right? So we're waiting. I have set up everything. I have gotten everything ready. We're just waiting on you, Randy. Yes, I know I'm a bit all over the place to begin this because Okay, I don't blame you. I'm all over the place. I get it. Whatever. Fuck off. Randy, I have a way for you to warm up for the fights. And all my squareheads, fuck off. Where were you to help me out with this? You know I'm stupid. You've heard me before. You know I need all the help I can get. But, well, okay, luckily I was able to fix it. And it was because of something that one of my fans did that was very nice. So, I probably shouldn't be this upset by it. Especially since one of the greatest things happened to me over the last couple weeks. One of the best things. One of the things that maybe I am on the right track. Maybe I am on the verge of making it. I got on Instagram my first Jesus Freak message. That's right, folks. I am on my way. The first Jesus Freak has messaged me. Are you as pumped as I am? Are my squareheads feeling this the way I am? I'm on my way. See, that's another thing. This might be the most or the biggest motivator I've ever had. So obviously the reason I'm late with this episode is because it wasn't because I'm lazy or, I had the best thing that ever happened to me when it comes to this show. Forget the 5,000 downloads. Forget the amount of people who are liking and subscribing. Forget all the random countries that are continuing to listen, who are growing. So obviously some douchebag in India hears me. India's probably not the right country, because who knows what the fuck's going on there. All the people in England who hear me, that number is going up every episode. So obviously British people are hearing this and saying, this might be a guy we want to hear. This is our Kate Middleton, or the American Kate Middleton. This is someone we want. I've made it. I must have, right? My first Jesus freak telling me all about the shit I'm talking about is evil. And then halfway, honestly, if I printed this out, it's a 3-page. It's a 3-pager. As most of nutty religious, I don't want to say text or writing because that sounds like it's coming from, as most batshit people do, they tend to write a lot. You see, I'm batshit, so I just talk a lot, because then 60 minutes of talking looks a lot less crazy than 4 pages of writing. So he's going off. I don't remember where I was at that, but going off. Or she, I forget what the name was, and who knows what they're doing. Going off about how I'm evil, and the stuff I'm talking about is evil, and how evil is running amok throughout our society. So I'm starting to feel bad. I'm reading through this. Damn, maybe I'm a problem. Maybe I'm something. Until I get to, we'll call it page 2 of 3. Who knows? Because I was reading on the computer, so who knows? They compared my evil to the evil that children are. I know that sentence doesn't sound like it makes sense. They said, to sum up their point, that children are evil as well. Inherently evil. As soon as a kid is born, they are evil. 2 things. I have mentioned that overpopulation is probably fucking our world more than anything else we could do. So there is a chance maybe they were just pandering to me to get me to read the rest of this shit. Also, I've met a lot of batshit crazy kids, so you ever meet one of those kids you're like, I have no idea where I was going with this. I have totally lost my train of thought. I just tried to save it right there, but that idea didn't go anywhere. They're either pandering to me, or they are really crazy and found another outlet for it. And here's the thing. If you know any of these batshit crazy religious people, send them to my show. Fuck it, I'll take them as fans. Fuck, who am I to be proud, right? God damn. My equipment is so shitty, my computer just froze up, and that's why I lost my whole train of thought there. Jesus freak. Dude has a point. Dude might have a point with the kids. That's all I'm going to say. The more children who are born, the more it affects our environment. If you know anyone who is a batshit religious person, send them to my show. I'm on all streaming platforms. You all know that. To sum this all up, I am super proud of myself because I'm on my way to making it. I got my first Jesus freak email, or no, it was an Instagram message. I got my first Jesus freak coming after me. That's got to mean something, right? Oh, another thing. This ought to tell you that I wasn't just blowing you people off and I really had nothing. Wrestling is way better than any fucking movie you could ever watch while you edit this. I found that 2 episodes ago, and I never enjoyed editing my episodes more. So now that I fucking found that, you know editing is no longer going to be the problem for this. By the way, who out there watched WrestleMania? I only saw Sunday live. First of all, tired of Bianca Belair. She can fuck right off. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know why they're pushing her so much. She ain't that good. She ain't that interesting. And quite honestly, she ain't that hot. You remember Attitude Era. If you want to be good, you gotta be hot. Second of all, I noticed this last episode. I do a lot of lists, and I do a lot of first of all, second of all, A and B, and I always forget how it's going or how it was. I forget if I'm on A, B, or C. Just know I'm just as lost as you. So, what else happened on Sunday at WrestleMania? Oh, Shane McMahon came back, forgot he was 50, tore his quad, and Snoop Dogg saved the day. And Cody Rhodes lost in a match, but it was a great match, and a lot of random shit happened, which was cool. Cody Rhodes is a fucking dweeb of a wrestler. He's almost as dweeby isn't the word, nerdy isn't the right word, as I don't know what the word is, but if you compare Cody Rhodes and John Cena in the ring, they are close to the same person. Cody Rhodes isn't as bad. But everything I've seen Cody Rhodes do, I've hated, except for Sunday. So there's that. Wow, you know what? I just realized I managed to challenge Randy to our boxing match without making it about him for the most part. Let's see, the NCAA tournament is over. Gonna have to eat a little crow here. Yes, that's still a term. Yes, I'm still gonna make it. Apologies to UConn. I went on this whole goddamn rant, made fun of them with having Kemba Walker. See, Kemba Walker is a good name to make fun of a school for. Why? I don't know, because he's, a close to all-star, but not quite. And so it's funny to make fun of his college for it. They were beating everybody like they were hosting an Ike Turner pool party. Holy shit, they put the wood to Gonzaga. They put the wood to everyone that was thrown in front of them. I don't know the numbers. I'm not going to pretend like I know the numbers. But I'm pretty sure that they had a lot of double-digit wins. So all that shit I talked on the last episode about UConn, I'm sorry. By the way, just real quick to go back to my point I had on my last episode, Gonzaga fan, after everything that happened, celebrated making the Sweet 16. Duke was, compared to other Duke teams, god awful. They're not celebrating a Sweet 16. Stop calling yourself a powerhouse if your fan base. That's what it comes down to. The fan base needs to ask more from the team. You're never going to get more if you don't ask for it. The fact that we let Gonzaga and Mark Few and all the players underachieve year after year after year, and we still clap every time they get off the fucking plane 2 rounds too early, is the reason they're never going to get better. I did love, what was it, round of 32? They were up by like 7 or something like that, and there was a garbage 3-pointer that was made that fucked betters on a lot of shit. But here we go. I always have one main topic for my episodes. We all know that. I have a lot of filler. Not that my filler isn't great, but I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. What's the big news in the C-squared hour corner of the world? Well, if you've listened to me before talk about sports, you know where I'm going with this. Caitlin Clark from Iowa, the women's basketball player from Iowa, and Angel Reese from LSU. College basketball, there was the national championship game, Iowa versus LSU. Caitlin Clark for Iowa is the second coming of whoever Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is in the women's game, what have you. And LSU beats them in the national championship game. And oh my goodness, Angel Reese from LSU taunts Caitlin Clark with what Caitlin Clark, with the actions that Caitlin Clark, actions sound so stupid, but the same thing Caitlin Clark's been doing all fucking tournament, Angel Reese does back to her, and that's a fucking problem. By the way, right now my recording says 36 minutes, which is going to be a lot less for what you see. Probably 24 minutes. I looked this up 24 minutes ago, so that's how I know the name. Stop pretending like I watch this shit. She does the same gesture that Caitlin Clark's doing all fucking tournament. Yes, she looked at her rather than the bench, and then pointed to her ring finger like, we won it. Couple points. First of all, who gives a fuck? Happens in every fucking game, every fucking sport. Second of all, and this is my main point. Actually, no, this is my almost main point. Since this is a news story in a women's sports game, sports league, are you just proving my point that you aren't to the same level as men yet? You haven't gotten there. If this happened in the men's championship game, we wouldn't even be talking about it. No one would be clamoring for an apology. How dare she do that to the... How dare Carmelo Anthony do that after Syracuse? No one would give a shit. You know why? Because we understand the competitive nature. And to top it off, because everyone got some... Dr. Jill Biden says they both played so great, we're going to invite both of them to the White House? Fuck you. Why does everyone make my fucking point for me? So, we have to pretend that women's sports are the same. Name the last time a football game went down so close to the wire. I'll go way back. I'll go back before I'm even supposed to remember. When the Titans almost scored a touchdown. He reached it out and was 2 inches away from scoring a touchdown against the Rams. Did they even think about inviting both teams to the White House because they played so fucking good? The national championship game this year. You think San Diego State is even considering getting invited? But no, since both these women's teams play so good, maybe we should invite them both to the White House. Shut the fuck... No, don't shut the fuck up. You don't have to shut the fuck up. You really don't have to. If you invite them both, stop pretending like they're worth a shit. That was a little harsh, but I'm going to keep it in just because, you go big or go home, right? They both played so well, maybe we should invite both of them. Here's the main point. And let's not get lost in my hatred of... I don't want to say women's sports because I don't hate women's sports. I hate the... Trying to think of the word. The politicism of women's sports. The blind... I don't know. I'm going to leave that one behind. But let's forget the fact that Dr. Jill Biden thinks that both the ladies' teams played so well that they should be invited. And that shows you that women's sports still has a long way to go, and it has nothing to do with how much better men's sports are. The biggest thing is, where are you, lefties? And I don't mean just people on the left side of the aisle. Where are the left-wing people who make a living being professionally offended? Where are you? This was gift wrapped for you. You spend your life being professionally offended, and they give you a reason on a silver platter to be professionally offended, none of you are doing it. Why am I doing this? Douchebag in Eastern Washington who is sitting in a office that, is barely an office. Why am I the one who has to tell you how to do your fucking job? Before I go to the real points I made, I just thought of this. Dr. Jill Biden, in saying we should invite both teams to the White House, is it because Caitlin Clark is the number one player for Iowa, and Angel Reese is I don't know if she's number one, but is the most recognizable player for LSU? Is it racism? Are they wanting to invite both teams because they feel like maybe LSU is a little too dark for... Not saying this is the truth. I'm saying you professionally outraged people, I'm giving you the ammo. I'm looking at this right now. I didn't even have that. I just came up with that point now. You professionally upset people. You find all these reasons for outrage, this fake outrage. And this time, if you became outraged, people might actually buy it. But I'm going through social media. Nothing. None of you are saying shit. You have the whole sexism thing. I guess I'm jumping ahead of myself. Why is this whole thing with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, why is this a whole big deal when it wouldn't be in a men's sport? Sexism. The only reason we care about the only reason we care about the LSU player taunting the Iowa player is because of sexism. We wouldn't be saying about this about men's sports because... There you go. There's your first argument. It's right there for you. I just made it for you. Oh, that one doesn't work? Okay. The only reason we care about her doing that is because it was a woman of color doing it to a white woman, and now all of a sudden it's a problem when it wasn't a problem when she was doing it in early rounds. Another argument for you. Why isn't that being done? You have the chance to legitimize yourself. These are two arguments worth having. These are arguments that I could potentially listen to. The real reason is maybe because the women's championship game was built up so much this year and it was a blowout, so maybe they had to try to find something interesting from that game. That's probably the real reason, but you professionally outraged people from the left, and they have the same people on the right. I know, I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is the perfect opportunity for you professionally upset people to jump on board and almost legitimize your position. But since you're not doing that, you are just proving you are full of shit. It's almost like if you were going to be a professional offendee, if that's a word, someone who gets offendee. If you were going to be a professional offendee, you have to find bullshit reasons to be upset and not real reasons. As I adjust the mic again, I apologize. I get wound up and I look up and I see, I'm probably not talking in the mic as much as I was before. Or I'm talking into it too much, or I need to adjust something. I get wound up from this, but you people with the fake outrage, you have a reason for real, quote-unquote, outrage. And you pissed it away. Because now if you do it, now you're just a fucking phony Johnny-come-lately who's just trying to jump on a bandwagon to get someone to look at you. No one gives a fuck anymore. The fact that they want her to apologize, go fuck yourself. If Ja Morant did that in LeBron James's face, no one would be asking for an apology. It's either racism or sexism. You professionally upset people, you pick, and you run with it. Oh, but you can't anymore because now you just look like a phony. I guess I should have done an episode last week, so you people... Or you people. So there would be something to... I know I've made my point, and I'm just beating it to the ground, but look, beating a dead horse is good practice for when you come across a live one. Am I right? I just came up. How embarrassing is it if no one likes you enough to donate to your Facebook charity, your birthday charity fundraiser? For my birthday this year, I'm asking for donations. 0. How embarrassing is that? Like, people don't like you so much that they won't donate to homeless dogs through your profile. I bet you, if you get 0 on that, I guarantee you at least 10 people who saw that donated on their own and not through your little, for my birthday. How embarrassing is that for you? I don't know why I brought that up, but it just popped across. So, obviously, see, I saved this for last because who knows how many of you are too fucking bored from listening to me to stay with this. And there's going to be plenty of people who were talking about this. Trump was indicted, arrested, maybe arrested, I don't know. He was... what have you. I don't know, is it January 6th? Is it Stormy Daniels? Is it inflating the ratings for The Apprentice? I don't know what he's... There's so much stuff going on with him. He's indicted. He's going to a criminal case. There is a Twitter account. I forget the name, and everything in here is on airplane mode because I don't want it fucking up with it. All it is doing is showing people who have taken their Let's Go Brandon flags and put them at half-mast. I gotta tell you, left supporters, you cannot do anything as funny as that. Holy hell. That is funnier than... honestly, it's funnier than any joke or any concept I can make up about this. Which isn't saying much, because I'm not very funny. It is funnier than anything I can say about it. Flying their, flyer, Let's Go Brandon flag, because he was indicted. I'm just going to mention that that's fucking hilarious. I'll let super professionals, go into reasons. I'm going to tell you why we're running into all this shit. Why this is becoming an issue. Why so much weird shit has been going around this presidency. Overdue for an assassination. Overdue for an assassination attempt. I don't know what the numbers is, but let's try that in English, shall we? I don't know what the numbers are, but there are 2 very specific equations is the wrong word. I don't know, they say every 5th president has an assassination or assassination attempt, or if you were voted in on this certain year, you are set to be assessed. There is a lot of stuff like the like the Skull and Bones and the Freemasons, that sort of stuff, saying like, oh well, every president up until... and the last one we had was Reagan. The last attempted assassination that we know of was Reagan. So if you think Kennedy up to Reagan up till somebody, Bush, Obama, Trump, someone needed to be... because if you go back from Kennedy before that, there was assassination before that was within that time frame, and even before that. Nature is trying to tell us something. That might be a little much for what I'm trying to say. Might have to tone it back a little bit. Gonna hit reverse on that little, on that whole thing. We have gotten too comfortable with our elected officials. The last big thing we had to deal with was a softball game getting shot up. We are overdue for an assassination attempt. And that's why we're seeing all this stuff. If you can't do it by a crazy white guy in a bell tower, you're gonna have to try to assassinate character. And that's what we're doing. Regardless of whether the character should be dead, which a lot of people would say Trump's character should be dead. Regardless, if you can't do it by a crazy white person in a bell tower, you're gonna have to do it through the court system. And that's why we're seeing all this. If someone shot at George W. Bush, if someone shot at Barack Obama, if someone shot at Donald Trump while he was in office, all this shit would have passed on by. This would have all been settled because we got our taste of blood. We got our pound of flesh from the occupying force. We don't have that, so we have to get our pound of flesh elsewhere. And we're getting that through the court system. I would love to have a solution for this. I would love to have a reasonable man's idea of, you want to stop all this? Here's an idea. I have none. I have no idea what the fuck to say. Because I truly believe that is why the last two presidents have been so divisive. Divisive? Is that the word? But really, in my lifetime, I haven't seen the right and left so divided since Obama, and especially with Trump. So there's a thought in my head that says us as the American people had nothing to rally behind when it comes to the president. We have nothing to rally behind because of the heightened security. We'll say that. I'm not going to say the lack of anything. The heightened security. But if there was a certain attempt of something, I highly doubt we'd be dealing with all this shit. January 6th only happened because they didn't have a reason to mourn anything. Wow, that was intense. That was a little too much. Let's end on actually, you know what? Speaking of this, I was gonna end on a lighter note, but fuck that. Speaking of which, I am seeing ads on social media advertising joining the Freemasons and advertising Skull and Bones. Yes, that organization. The organization that, according to a lot of conspiracy people, organized 9/11. Now all of a sudden they're trying to recruit people? Now they're trying to send people to their websites? What? Is that the issue? Is no one joining? Because what? It was the Freemason... I'm trying to remember the conspiracies. The Freemasons who did the assassination on Lincoln. Skull and Bones was Kennedy, obviously. Was it Skull and Bones was also Reagan. Is that the issue? You're not recruiting well enough? Is that why Trump's being indicted and we as a people are so divided and have nothing to rally behind? Is it because you're not getting people? I mean, honestly, you're not running out of Kennedys to kill. There's still plenty of Kennedys out there. Why am I seeing ads for these societies? Get your shit together, get recruiting better, get all this, and that way we can stop indicting former presidents or threatening to indict them, and we could get back to business as usual. We need to get back to business as usual. I'm not going to say what that is, because, who the fuck knows? We all know what it is. I have one more point on here, but this seems like some... Here's the funny thing. I ran out, or I didn't have enough to do a full episode 2 weeks ago. Now I'm leaving fucking topics topics on my sheet. So maybe I'm a once every 2 week podcaster. No, you're not. How dare you say that? Christopher, you are as good as every other weekly podcast. As I'm winding down, I'm looking through all my stuff. You know how I know I'm like relatively good at hiding stuff? Without a VPN, the closest any of my devices get to when I go on the internet, if you're looking for things close to, the closest one I can have is Portland. Obviously, I'm doing pretty decent when it comes to hiding that stuff. So, leaving one topic left, so I'm going to wind this down here. I appreciate everyone who continues to listen, who continues to support. I still have the store on Teespring.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
If you buy shit, I'll be able to keep this stuff going. So, check it out. There might be some, in the store, there might be a couple things that local people would know about. And there's going to be some non-show stuff, but that has to do with me. Possibly. So, buy shit, share, send this around, do whatever you have to do. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for understanding it's a joke and not turning me into the Secret Service. Beyond that, that's all I got. So I will check you all next time.